Shalom, Yashrala. It's your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Archakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here article, as we have been prophesying about this earlier, this is what it's going to come to, all right? America's or Babylon's allies are now turning into their enemies, all right? And as I've been reporting on this for quite a while about, Turkey getting this S-400 from Russia, all right, which America was threatening to bar Turkey from the F-35 program, in which Turkey used to be, they used to help, manufacture, parts for this here plane, But nevertheless, since they took delivery of the S-400 system from Russia, all right, America barred them from that system and told them they couldn't have the F-35 plane. And so now here we go where Turkey is seeking to buy warplanes from Russia, all right, which is, prophesied in the scriptures. All right, so we're going to read through this here article real quick. I'm going to grab a couple of scriptures and we're going to close out. This is from RT. It says, yes, you can buy it. Putin shows Erdogan Russian 5th generation Su-57 fighter jet. And briefly to touch on the Su-57, all right, this is basically, almost like on an even playing field with the F-35. So this is like a new plane, just like the F-35 is, all right, with the same capabilities and so on and so forth. They're pretty much on the same level. However, these Russian Su-57s are, way more advanced than the F-35, man. All right, they're already using AI technology to pilot these damn jets. All right, but nevertheless, it says a future deal on Russia's Su-57 fighter jet has seemingly been brought up by Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan after his host, President Vladimir Putin, impressed him with the 5th generation jet at the MAKS 2019 air show. The two leaders inspected a Su-57 and peeked into his cockpit on the ground after attending the opening of the biannual air show outside of Moscow. Hey, man, and this is such a dumb move for Babylon to be making because, why? Again, Turkey used to help manufacture some parts for the F-35. So, how they talking about they looked into the cockpit or whatnot. Turkey used to manufacture the damn cockpits for the F-35. So they're afraid that this S-400 could start, which it can, seek out the secrets of the F-35 and make it pretty much obsolete. However, if you got somebody that's building some of it, hey, man, it's like almost the same shit, man. They can give you some of the secrets to that damn plane. All right. It says, while the export variant of the 5th generation fighter is being displayed at the show for the first time, its domestic model entered serial production earlier this year. Erdogan wondered if the plane was already airworthy, which Russian president confirmed. The Turkish leader then asked if it was possible to buy it. Putin responded in affirmative, with the two sharing a laugh thereafter. So, hey, you already could have seen this coming down the road, from a mile away. All right, that they was gonna wind up, buying the S-400, which really makes the damn F-35 obsolete. You can't really use that damn plane. Like, it's a stealth fighter jet, but really the S-400 can see that shit. All right, but nevertheless, you're gonna kick Turkey up out of that deal with them. All right, just because they bought the S-400. Now they're going to go buy a more superior aircraft, the Su-57, all right? It says, while the discussion appeared to be lighthearted exchange, Turkey has, in fact, been seeking a new supplier to reinforce its aging Air Force fleet. Washington excluded an Ankara from the F-35 program earlier this year in response to Russia delivering S-400 anti-aircraft missile systems to Turkey. The U.S. claimed that the 5th generation jet might be compromised by mere presence of the S-400s. Yeah, because the S-400 has a capability of not only seeking out with multiple different radar bands these stealth fighters, but also it's like, let me see how I can put it. It's like a scanner, it can scan this damn plane and go into its computer systems and see what, how do I put it? The computer programming is all like, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty much like they can hack your shit and see all the files that you got basically just by hitting the shit with radar. All right, so that's why they don't want them to have this plane next to the S-400, all right? It says, and Ankara has repeatedly stated it would have to look for modern aircraft elsewhere if it was barred from the F-35 purchases. Moscow said it was ready to discuss potential Su-57 deals with Ankara if it shows interest, which it already has. So they basically telling you that they about to start selling them planes as well, all right? After attending the air show, the two leaders held a joint press conference where Erdogan confirmed Turkey seeks to continue military cooperation with Russia, which he said would include warplanes. Earlier this month, Turkish media reported that its military is assessing the prospect of purchasing another type of Russian fighter jet, the Su-35, which also is a damn, that plane is pretty much like the F-22s, which the F-22 is still a pretty badass plane in comparison to everybody else's planes, all right, or like an F-17 or some shit like that, all right? So that's not really a plane that's like super outdated or anything like that. So either way, Russia is going to pretty much start selling Turkey some of these warplanes, all right, which is going to give them the upper hand, all right? Now, let me grab a couple of scriptures real quick, and we're going to close out. Like I said, it's not going to be a long lesson, all right? But nevertheless, just seeing how these things are just rolling back out throughout this, how do I say, in the news, all right? It's just advancing into this here plan, all right? This is Obadiah 1:7. It says, all of the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. And they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, and there's no understanding in him. All right? Because why? Turkey used to be in confederation with basically America through NATO. All right? That was a NATO ally. All right? But nevertheless, they just like, yo, look, I don't know if they want to kick them out. But nevertheless, at the same time, hey, that's pretty much what it's going to boil down to. All right? Because we're reading it here in the scriptures. All right? They have that confederacy, your allies, pretty much your friends, the people that said peace with you, man. All right, because America wasn't really beefing with Turkey, man. They had one little skirmish where, a couple of years back, America tried to overthrow Erdogan, you know what I'm saying, with a fake military coup. But nevertheless, Erdogan prevailed from that, and things kind of got a little rocky. But nevertheless, they continued on their partnership, all right? But things started getting rocky when, Turkey had been purchased this S-400, all right? But look, as the time for the delivery came closer, that's when the beef started happening. That's when America started threatening Turkey, as if they wasn't friends, as if they weren't allies, because Turkey just seeks to get protection for themselves to have the most advanced stuff on the market, man. And right now, Russia has the most advanced weapons technology out there, all right? So it says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. And they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, and there's no understanding in him. All right, so look, America, is feeding these other countries, more or less to say. So it says, they that eat thy bread, meaning that, if you're feeding somebody bread, you're nourishing them. You're giving them, how do I say, the resources that their body needs to basically keep going, So this is a representation of what America feeding these other nations, giving them the resources they need to continue on. All right, being what? One of the things being a military arm, all right, giving them military arms and things like that, But nevertheless, see, America was feeding Turkey with this, all right, and some of their other allies. But nevertheless, it's like, yo, I'm taking care of y'all, so on and so forth. I'm feeding you, making sure you eating every night. But then all of a sudden, they had a saying in the world, now you're going to bite the hand that feeds you. All right. So this is what's pretty much going on, because why? Turkey was at peace with them. America was providing Turkey with weapons and things like that. But now Turkey wants to seek buying weapons from Russia, which is an enemy of America. All right. Now Turkey has put America in a hard spot. All right. Because if they got that S-400, it would compromise the F-35. So this is that wound that's being laid up under them. This is that snare. America can't just roll over, at any other point in time in history. All right. If something like this was to happen, America would just go over there and bomb the shit out of them. And next week it'd be a whole new country. You see what I'm saying? But now they can't do that in these times, in these days. If they try to take their Air Force over there and bomb Turkey, all right, they're going to launch off those S-400s, which can take down the F-35s, all right? So, and that's how America fights. They dominate with air superiority first and foremost. But if you don't have air superiority, you really can't do shit, all right? So it says, Obadiah 1:7 again. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. And they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, and there's no understanding in him. All right? Let me grab something else real quick. This is in the book of Isaiah 14 and verse 10. It says, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Like I was saying, not so long ago, if another nation was trying to pull what Turkey just pulled, they would just bomb the shit out of them. Look at Iraq, you know what I'm saying, when they try to change their currency, all right, to the British pound, or Libya, when they try to make a United African currency out of gold, the golden dinar. Are you seeing what happened over there? They try to pull out of the central banking, you know what I'm saying? They bombed them to hell and back, you know? You see what they trying to do over there to Venezuela, all right? But what? You see what they try to do over there in Syria, all right? But what? It's getting harder and harder for these nations to do that. This is why you're seeing a lot of these nations buck up right now. Like Iran is like, look, if y'all bring your ass over if you want to. We ain't really scared of that shit. We've been waiting to fuck somebody up, you know? But nevertheless, you have these other countries like Turkey right now, and it's like, look, America's putting threats on them like, if y'all buy that S-400, we're going to take y'all out the F-35 program. We're going to stop selling y'all arms and y'all going to become an enemy to us. But now Turkey and these other nations like, if we become y'all enemy, what the fuck does that even mean? What does that even matter to us? We're not scared of you no more, bro. Like, we got, if not equal or more superior weaponry than what you got. If not, if we don't, we got somebody that can supply it to us, being Russia. All right, so these nations ain't that scared no more. All right, they like, look, bro, we're on the same playing field, you know? Y'all got the F-35. The F-35 is a badass plane when it comes comparably to these other nations' planes. All right. And again, air superiority, which is very important in a time of war. But nevertheless, you don't really got air superiority because we shut all that down with the S-400. All right. That's basically what happened over in Syria. You know, they put the I think they had an S-300 over there. All right. And Russia had the warships over there, and they was lobbing cruise missiles over there. You see what I'm saying? So America, they pretty much shut down the airspace over there. So America wasn't really over there dropping bombs like that no more. Because why? They would have got the plane shot out the sky. They would have showed a weakness. These other nations would have looked at America as being weaker than what, you know, the image that everybody's used to seeing, you know. But nevertheless, let me go to the book of Ezekiel 37. We're gonna close out after this. This is Ezekiel 37. I'm started, or so like 38. This is Ezekiel 38, and I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, and the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And say, Thus saith Yahweh power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. All right, this is talking about Russia. It says, verse 4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horses and horsemen. All right, so what? Putting the hooks into the jaws of Russia and bringing them back is talking about what? You know, when you go back in history, you know, with the USSR, I believe it was the United Soviet States of, I don't think it was Russia, but nevertheless, United Soviet something Republic. But nevertheless, that was what, you know, bigger than what you call Russia today is. You see what I'm saying? Russia was a conglomeration of nations, all right? Or basically put it this way, if you understand what NATO is, it's a conglomeration of nations, all right? If they was to disband NATO, or you look at a NATO map, you know, it would look like it covers the whole damn globe. But then if you break up NATO, you would just have a bunch of individual nations, all right? Or the EU, all right? Because right now the EU is looked at as one big nation. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, Russia was the same way. They had all these other nations tied to it, all right? But I believe in the 80s when you had Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev, all right, they pretty much, you know, at the end of the Cold War, all right, because why? First of all, let's go back to the end of World War II. World War II, you had the two dominating, well, you had like three dominating powers on the planet at that time, all right? You had basically, well, the USSR, like basically Russia with Joseph Stalin, all right? You had, you know, you really kind of like the British, you know, and then America stepped up right afterwards. But and then you had Hitler and them, you know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, really Hitler was the more superior military, because this is where the arms that Russia and America pretty much getting all they weaponry and they technology from at the end of World War II was from Germany. But nevertheless, back in those times, Russia was like a powerhouse. That's, you know, Hitler was like, oh, I was actually afraid of being invaded by Joseph Stalin and them. You see what I'm saying? Because that was like the only people that could really challenge him and what he was doing. All right. But nevertheless, they was a mighty military power, a strong superpower on the earth. All right. But then we had the Cold War in the 80s and things like that with Russia and America. You know, it was pretty much like a war. They was going at back and forth. They wasn't really shooting and killing nobody, but, you know, through proxies and propaganda, America was working on destroying their economy, destroying the morality in their nation, all right, destroying the infrastructure of their nation, just like how you see them doing in these other nations like Venezuela and stuff like that, or in Cuba. You know, if you ever wonder why Cuba's so poor and they so stuck back so far in time, all right, this is the reason why. All right, and this is the same thing. The same thing happened in China. Pretty much all these nations, you see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, this is what happened in Russia, you know, at the end of the 80s, you know, in times of the 80s, all the way up until, you know, maybe around 2006. All right. So Russia pretty much fell from being a superpower to basically being like almost damn near a third world country, if not a second world country. All right. But then we had the times of Vladimir Putin getting into office. All right. Vladimir Putin got into office for the first time. And what? He started working on bringing back the economy, bringing back the infrastructure, bringing back manufacturing and bringing back international trade, bringing back exporting of energy and natural gases, bringing back the military. All right. So all these things pretty much under Vladimir Putin has all started increasing. All right, because Russia was pretty much like a damn shithole, you know. But nevertheless, now everything is being increased over there: the economy, the infrastructure, the military, so on and so forth. All right, now part of their military growing, you're starting to see them upgrade all their weapons. This is why you're starting to see them come out with what the Cermat 1 and 2 order, aka the Satan 1, the Satan 2 missiles. All right, these nuclear powered cruise missiles. All right, the what is it? The Kinjal missile, the Avangard hypersonic missile. All right, all these new technologies that Russia's coming out with all came out under basically Vladimir Putin. All right, this is them being brought back to that, and then they also expanding their territories. All right, going back to that, basically the USSR state, man, going back to being that superpower that it once was. All right, this was all prophesied in the scriptures, and we're reading this here in Ezekiel 38:4. It says, "I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords." So what? They all handling swords. They all got missiles. They all got an offensive capability. But then it keeps touching on them all having swords and helmets. All right. These swords and helmets are in representation of what? What is Russia's main export right now when it comes to weapons to these other nations? They're not really selling these other nations like that. Massive amounts of planes, massive amounts of warships, massive amounts of missiles and shit like that. They selling what? Defensive capabilities, missile defense systems. All right. They selling out S-300s, S-400s, which is pretty much a missile defense system, something on a defensive situation. All right. This is why, you know, like I said, it's being prophesied here in the scriptures that Russia would be doing all these things in the end time. All right. Verse 5, getting into this great company. It says, these are the people that's going to be joined unto Russia. All right. Now, Persia, which is what? Iran. All right. And you see this is going on right now as we speak in the news right now. America's trying to go into Iran. But what? Russia has like a situation, like, you know, the NATO situation. If somebody fuck with one of the NATO members, all the NATO members going to come out and sting your ass. Right. Same thing like with Russia. Russia got the same situation between them, Syria, and Iran. If anybody fuck with any of those countries, the other two countries are going to come to their aid. All right. So going back to verse 5, Persia, which is Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shields and helmet. All right, going back into those missile defense systems that Russia would be selling unto them. All right, verse 6, Gomer and all his bands in the house of Tomorgah of the north quarters and all his bands and many people with thee. All right, dealing with what? Syria and Turkey. All right, so and we see this right now in the media. Let me read this verse 7. Be thou prepared and prepare thyself. All right, meaning what? Going back to putting the hooks into thy jaws. All right, bringing them back. All right, this is what you see happening with Russia advancing they military, their infrastructure, exporting, you know, natural gas and stuff like that to fund all these things, but mainly they military. All right, this is what they spending a lot of their income, their GDP on. All right, is to advance their military right now. So it's basically like an arms race again between America and Russia, but Russia's basically winning right now because they shit's way more advanced. All right, which is all prophesied in the scriptures. All right, this is why it's all happening. All right. So it says, be thou prepared and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be a guard unto them. All right. So there's going to be a great company that's going to be assembled unto Russia. They're going to look to Russia to be their guard, or their head, or their main supplier of these here weapons to strengthen their militaries. All right. And this is what you're seeing happening. All these nations that's been being bullied by America are all seeking Russia and flocking unto Russia. All right. And being aided by Russia with the sales of military weapons. All right. But nevertheless, you know, I just wanted to touch on this briefly because this is something that just popped up in the news, you know, and hey, these prophecies don't never stop. You know, sometimes they change. You know, sometimes we be dealing on the family of the word, sometimes with race wars, sometimes with the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. Sometimes it's the wars and the rumors of wars. But nevertheless, hey, man, these prophecies are still speaking, man. Every last one of them, man. They all banging on the door. But nevertheless, we also know that we have to measure the times diligently. All right. World War III is not going to break out today, tomorrow, or nothing like that until what? They push that RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. But nevertheless, you know, just prophesying and reporting on the buildup to that final world war, all right? Just, going into the scriptures and showing you the whole buildup as it was all prophesied in the scriptures, But with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out. Lord willing, the elect was edified with that. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Salakia, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for Yaki and pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong and shalom.